We're live on Twitch, gentlemen.
Nice.
You want to do any introductions or anything? I don't know, or just save them for when we start the podcast proper. Okay.
No, not really.
No.
Well,
hello,
I was gonna,
people on Twitch.
Yeah, to nobody right now. I'm assuming you start out with 0, right?
Yeah, you start out with 0, and then people will notice.
Unless you do a countdown.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that would require more followers than I have.
Yeah, Daniel, do you ever watch Twitch? I mean, outside of this podcast.
Seen Twitch at all. Hell, I watched these episodes that he told me were up on YouTube. I don't understand how Twitch works, but it sounds like a fine institution.
It's owned by Amazon.
No.
Yeah, a lot of Jack Ryan commercials at one point when I was watching it. I don't really watch it anymore. I haven't watched it in 6 months, but a lot of what was that? Jack? Was it just called Jack Ryan?
I think so.
Yeah. Is it still going?
I don't know.
I think so.
Probably.
What are y'all currently watching? Are y'all watching any shows right now? Because obviously
Nah.
I set this up to tell you the show I'm watching, but I would like to know if y'all are watching any shows.
Not shows. This past weekend, I watched parts of the PGA Championship.
Oh, Jesus, I nodded off just as soon as you started talking.
Ah, man,
I'm
I don't
sorry.
know what you're talking about. Have you ever watched golf?
Yeah, I watch it when it's the last hole and shit's on the line, but if you're asking me to fucking sit down and just watch the first round of PGA, man, I'd rather watch fly as fuck. Daniel, are you watching anything?
Actually, Courtney was watching a show on Netflix. It was, she had started it, and it was like right at the first episode, whatever. I kind of joined in, so I was from the beginning, but I think it's called Black Monday or some shit like that. I can't remember the name of it, but it's another zombie show, but they do it a little differently, and just their camera work is different. So
These zombies are playing bingo.
No, these zombies are the ones filming it all. It's found footage. It's fucking amazing. No, but no.
You had
anyway,
to go in there.
I
You really did.
thought there for a second he was being for real too. Man, like, this sounds interesting.
No,
it
it's the way I
sounds
say that it's
stupid.
shot. It's shot interesting.
You just-
is
Yeah.
huh? You sure? It's shot interestingly, like a motherfucker gets bit and you see them get taken over and shit like that, and then it follows this zombie for a good 30 seconds. Like they go and they start hunting, and now they're trying to come after somebody, and then it's like that whole deal was to introduce this character that she just picked up on and ran after. And then this character, they're following him because he's eventually going to end up with the bigger group later on. And then whenever you see him get up with the group, you'll notice someone else, and then it's kind of all over the place. It'll go back, it'll backtrack, and it'll show how this person ended up in the scenario that he was in or she was in to get to where she was when we first saw them the first time running. And it, like I said, it's just done differently, so it's interesting. And it was, I think, like 8 episodes the first season or some shit. But
Do you think it's
kind
called
of
Black
thing where you
Monday
don't-
as a social commentary on our capitalistic nature?
I may have
I'm
just
joking. I don't know.
made up that name. It's not
no,
Black
it's Black
Mirror, 'cause that's
Friday,
what I
sorry.
kept calling it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Black Friday, yeah.
No.
Anyway, but it was kind of interesting. But mainly, I've been playing Tears of the Kingdom. It's like every fucking free moment I have, I'm playing the shit out of that. It's pretty fucking fun.
I was gonna say you must be enjoying it then. I haven't played in the past couple days.
Is it new?
Yeah.
It's the newest Zelda game. Like I figured that you would it probably would be not as, I don't know. I figured that it was too mainstream for you to really dive into, Bone. Like I figured that you'd be one of the ones that's like, oh, it's just Breath of the Wild DLC,
Nah,
but it does got some
I
crazy
like
extra shit that's.
I like the new stuff that it has
Wild.
in it. I like it more than I'm enjoying it more than when I enjoyed Breath of the Wild,
Yeah.
because I did have Breath of the Wild as one of the most overrated games.
Yeah, because I remember you saying that because people who hadn't really ever fucked with the Morrowinds and other games like that with those mechanics are thinking that it's the first fucking game that's ever had it, and they went overboard with it. So I remember that being your opinion on it, which I've loved Zelda, so I love that fucking game. But this one's really good too, and there's just so much more to explore. So
Yeah.
whatever, but it's good. I'm excited about it.
So Josh, we took the long way around to get to what you're watching.
I know, and this is a show that I'd had on my watch list for the longest time, and I finally got around to it. It came out in like 2004, lasted 3 seasons, and I know this is going to sound very much hyperbole, but in terms of writing and acting, I can't think of a better show for me. And that's Deadwood.
Oh man, I want to watch that. I haven't watched it, but it is on at the top of my list.
The dialogue is Shakespearean. Honest to God, like obviously, it's all based in at least partial truth.
Wait, is it? And which I've only watched 2 seasons of this show, and I need to finish it. But is it better than The Wire?
Maybe like long haul, because I didn't find the second season of The Wire as strong as the first.
Yeah, it wasn't. But the 3rd season is supposed to be really good.
And the reason why I say this is probably better, the only reason I say this, because it's only 3, and then they made a movie like 2 years ago. They didn't overstay their welcome, Because I think True Detective season 1 might be in terms of just beginning, ending story of a series, might be like my personal favorite. But Deadwood as a continuing story, because The Wire season 2, it's a new case,
Yeah.
It's just one.
Yeah,
long
the Wire season 2 I think was union related.
union, and wasn't there like some trafficking?
Probably because it took place. I mean,
In
like
the
the focal
harbor.
point was it was like that shipping yard, whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, it's.
See-
I wish I would have started it a long time ago.
I might have to check it out then. Oh fuck, that reminds me though. Yeah, so if you're watching on HBO Max, the HBO Max app doesn't work anymore. You have to download Max.
Yeah, they ended it.
Yeah, they just
They merged with Discovery.
Came through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I think that's different for us international
Oh well,
viewers.
lucky
I think
you.
it's still HBO Max.
I tried to log into HBO Max this morning so I could rewatch and prepare a little bit for today, and that's where Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 is streaming at. So I turned on my HBO Max app, and I get this message talking about it's not available in this region, and I was like, thankfully, I had read before that it was changing to Max, so I knew, because if I didn't know that, I'd have been fucked. I'd have just been like, what do I do? So I went into the App Store on my TV and searched for it, and it's like, oh, okay, here it is, Max. And thankfully, it auto-logged me in.
Is it a price hike?
Well, I get mine with AT&T. It's part of my phone service.
Yeah.
So that's nice, because who wants to pay for another streaming service?
Wait, you had Texas
Seriously?
Chainsaw Massacre 2 on HBO Max?
Mm-hmm.
HBO Max here at the Nordic, fucking the options, like, because it's Warner Brothers, it's the horror is pretty much Conjuring universe, fucking it. That's it.
Those are on there, too.
Well, yeah, of course, but like I guess like there's so many different international rights, but yeah.
All right. You guys about ready to start?
Yeah.
For sure.
All right, let's start it proper. All right. All right, everybody that's watching us on Twitch, the one person that's watching right now, we are about to start the podcast, so we will be doing introductions, and here we go. Welcome to this episode of Very Unreasonable Things, everyone. I'm one of the hosts, Billy Bone. I'm joined by Josh Lindsay
Howdy, howdy.
and Daniel Sanders.
How's it going?
And we are back. It's been a minute since all three of us have had a chance to record together. And we're tackling the next movie in our big four. It was four, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
big,
4.
the big four of slasher movies, and this time we're talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2, which, let me see, came out 1986. It was 101 minutes long, had a budget of $4.5 million, made $8 million. Directed by Tobe Hooper, starring Dennis Hopper. I think that's being generous.
Very.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Caroline Williams, Jim Seidel, Bill Moseley, and Bill Johnson. And this is a canon movie.
Yeah.
It's Daniel's first, right?
Yeah, because you and
Canon movie that I've covered over here. Yeah. Not canon movie I've ever seen in my whole life.
don't lie, you were a canon virgin. This is the first one you've ever seen in your whole life.
You broke your hymen on this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Let me just ask right quick.
Sure, go ahead.
I just want to ask, what was the last movie all three of us were on? And it was
Parts-
obviously one of these movies. Was it Jason Lives?
Yeah, I think it was Jason Lives, yeah.
Yeah. That was a long time ago.
It was.
Last time I had my wisdom teeth out, so I was in no podcasting shape.
Sounds like excuses. but-
that's what I'm saying.
Missing a 2-week block is for us is 3 months of no recording an episode.
This year hasn't been as productive as our previous 2 years, but we're looking to change that. Me and Josh have been doing some episodes. Me and Daniel have been doing some episodes. One day, Daniel and Josh are going to learn how to do an episode together. They've got a block of movies they're going to do at some point.
I've already watched one of them. For no reason.
And
Me and Daniel ain't never going to do that.
And since our last episode
Wait for our
together,
Patreon.
there you go. Since our last episode together, though, we've started streaming our podcast, so you can watch it on YouTube if you prefer to have like a visual medium. Daniel's got his background set up, looking nice and neat. Got his movie posters.
Looks good.
Yeah,
And today I even have the Leatherface mask that Courtney made, just parked up in the corner, just nice and hanging out on the
a little
hold
too
on.
dark.
Bring it up
You
to the
gotta
screen
show it
closer.
off.
Yeah, bring it to the screen
Yeah.
closer so people can see it.
I mean, there you go. It looks about the same, dude.
Well, so here's the deal. Since Daniel obviously isn't going to explain this for people, Daniel's wife, Courtney, for like the past 10 years, whatever, has made her children's Halloween costumes. And she does a really amazing job with them. Like, they look really, really kick-ass.
For sure.
Yep. She does amazing shit.
So they've done Texas
didn't know
Chainsaw Massacre. She did Pinhead. She done Chucky. I think she did Freddy Krueger. She did the doll from Saw, didn't she? On Lucas
Yeah.
one year?
Yes. The little jigsaw on the tricycle.
Yeah.
Saw thing.
Yeah, they've been just...
And then she did Candyman, and then we had to tell her no blackface. That was a big...
Yeah, the blackface really brought down the party that year.
Maybe if she still got the pictures, we could post them on our Instagram page or Facebook if y'all are up for that. Just because it's really good and it's worth showing off.
Yeah. And then, she made this mask out of toilet paper and liquid latex.
Looks awesome.
So it's pretty awesome. Yeah.
What's your history with Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2?
I'll
Mine,
go.
I watched it a long time ago, and I did not remember it being as insane as it is. Because, like we've talked about it before, it's straight horror comedy. Like the first one was a serious movie,
Not
it
according to
seems
Toby
like-
Hooper.
and then this one here, it's pretty wackadoo. But like you said, for Toby Hooper, I mean, it's right along like his wheelhouse of shit. So you see him in it, so you can kind of respect that he's trying to do his own thing, but it is a wild ride.
Yeah, my history was like video rental stores, and I would see this movie cover, and it was enticing and scary. Like I was like 7 or 8, you know,
Yeah.
and obviously it's a ripoff of The Breakfast Club, but I hadn't seen this movie. It took years before it, you know, I watched it before it was like, because it was never on TV. Obviously, I mean, this originally got an X rating, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It carried with it a reputation.
Yeah.
So I can't remember the first time I saw it in its entirety. But yeah. And now
Yeah.
I've watched it twice in like 2 months.
Yeah, right. Yeah, for me, it's the same thing. I'd seen the cover, I'd seen the movie. It just, for whatever reason, took forever to watch it. It wasn't until I was an adult. And yeah, and now recently I've watched it twice in the past 2 months.
Yeah. The first time I saw it, I had hair on my chest.
Right?
Yeah.
So you had alluded to Toby Hooper's thoughts on it. Why don't you elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, this Toby Hooper claimed that with the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre was a black comedy. It's like, what? Like, I don't know. If you've ever watched that movie, I don't know where you're busting a gut at.
I know, right?
And then this one, you know, like globeting, what is it? What are those two?
You talking about Cannon?
Yeah, Israeli, the two
Oh.
guys, Globin and Gobus. What is it?
I will pull it up for you.
Please.
I say I'll pull it up for you. Golan Globus.
Golan and Globus, yeah. Because they thought they were getting a horror movie.
Yeah.
And when Toby Hooper turned in this, you know, the cut of the movie, it ain't what they signed up for. And here's the thing. Okay, they have a right to, you know, not like what he turned in because they thought they were getting a sequel to the 74 classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also weird, and maybe we've discussed this, Bone, when we talked about Canon, but Canon never forayed into the horror genre. This is their one attempt, kind of, you know?
Yeah.
They did sign Toby Hooper to a 3-movie picture deal, and I don't know what number this was in it. Maybe the second, or I don't know when Life Force came out. Life Force was like 85.
Life Force was 85.
Yeah.
Then you had Invaders from Mars, then Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. And then he didn't have another movie until 1990, which was Spontaneous Combustion.
Yeah. You watch...
Life Force is canon,
Yeah.
which means that Invaders from Mars,
It's canon.
yeah, it is. So there's your
Yeah.
3 movies.
So yeah, I don't know. Like, you watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the '74 film, an absolute classic, masterpiece, and then you watch The Funhouse, which I enjoy, and you watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2, and then you're like, maybe Toby Hooper didn't direct Poltergeist. Maybe that was Spielberg, you know?
Yeah.
Ugh.
He's definitely got a interesting way of doing things.
Yeah.
Well, where Texas Chainsaw Massacre took a minute to get going, and it was building atmosphere and building the ambiance and the tension and everything. This movie just starts right out the gates. You got
Yeah.
the 2 kids on their way to the Texas OU game.
Yeah.
Apparently, one of them's a crack shot because he's shooting these little bitty ass posts while they're moving full speed.
Well, just to backtrack a little bit, even the introduction, which isn't John Larroquette this time,
Yeah.
seems lazy.
Yeah. Well, and I
And the
think,
dude's speed reading it.
yeah, I had that note too. The opening text crawl goes by super fast.
And he says the line, no facts, no crime.
No facts, no crime.
It just, yeah, I don't know. It just seemed, just from that first text scroll, you're like, okay, we're not getting the same
Yep.
movie. You know?
Yeah, with the text crawl, with the reading of it, with, like I said, with the two kids just starting off. I mean, it was completely different.
I will say, though, this is a pretty accurate depiction of UT football fans.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Wouldn't you say, Daniel?
I would say it's a perfect depiction because I have seen Bone wear those exact fucking shades before.
I've seen him shoot mailboxes from the driver's side of his car, yelling "Hook 'em horns."
Oh man.
I've seen him chainsaw himself in half at 80 miles an hour.
We'll get to the 90 miles an hour thing too. Hey, did y'all see what
That
beer?
was fucking hilarious.
Did y'all see what beers these guys were drinking?
Shinerbach.
Good old Shinerbach.
Yep.
Good quality beer.
God, I wish I had a Shinerbach. Can't find them here in Sweden.
That's what I was about to ask. Did they not have them in Sweden?
Damn shame. No.
So, yeah, you got the guys in the car. They're on their
Did
way.
y'all notice the license plate?
No, I didn't.
Daniel, did you?
He just said no.
Okay. It shows back up on a paddle board in Dazed and Confused. Fa Q.
Oh, really?
That's
FAH
hilarious.
space Q.
Yeah, because I love that on that paddle. And Dazed and Confused.
So, like I was saying, though, you got the guys on the way to the game. They decide they want to call into this radio station. It's being hosted by Stretch,
Yep.
which would be Caroline Williams' character, right?
Yes.
And she's she's a request show that apparently runs until midnight. So she's taking requests. These guys call in, and they're fucking drinking, they're driving, they're shooting mailboxes, they're living life to the fullest. They're having a good time, but they're annoying her. And she's like, "Hey, hang up, hang up." They hang up, and then they call back, and she's like, "Hang up," and she tells her partner LG, like, "Get him off the line." He's like, I can't hang up on him." What kind of fucking equipment is that you can't hang up on somebody?
That's something that I put in my notes. It's like, holy shit. How did they not have the technology to hang up the phone? She's like, hang up, hang up.
Yeah.
LG, what are you doing? And he's just hocking loogies and fucking
I know.
spitting on
Oh
the
my
equipment
God.
and pulling fucking cords.
Look, since you already said it,
Dude, I got that in my notes too.
I've got it in my notes how LG spitting on the floor of this radio station.
Yeah.
When he leaves out, he spits on the fucking wall.
But let's cut to it when LG shows himself to Stretch and his face is cut off.
He's
he
still
spits.
spinning. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
still
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
doing it. He does it twice.
Yeah, he does do it twice.
I thought when he cut her free,
what
because
hell.
he's got the butcher knife and he's about to cut her. I was like, oh God, if he spits on this knife, then cuts it.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss.
This dude, yeah. Oh man, God, I had that too. So they're on the phone. They're fucking just harassing Stretch and everything, just being crazy kids. And they cross this bridge. And we'll talk about the
The
length
longest
of the
bridge in Texas.
I was gonna say we'll talk about the length of the bridge in a minute, but there's a truck in the middle of the road, and it blocks them at first, and they're hollering at it like,
well,
hey,
prior to that, they ran him off the road.
oh, did
Yes.
they? Oh, I missed it.
Yeah. We're going to play chicken with this. What did
Yeah.
he call him? He didn't call him a farmer, did he?
Yeah.
I missed that in a rewatch.
Farmer fucker or something.
Yeah, some
I don't
shit
know.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the truck blocks them, and then they're like cussing at it and everything, and finally the truck kind of moves out of the way, and they start going. They're going down the bridge, and the truck is driving backwards. And this is the best job driving backwards I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, Chop Top is.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's got
on top of
skills
it.
behind the wheel.
Yeah, he does. And supposedly they're going 90 miles an hour and they're on this bridge for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And give a shout out to Leatherface's Equilibrium too,
Yeah.
because you know.
This dude's standing in the back of the truck with like a dummy strapped to him also. And it just starts cutting this car up with a chainsaw. All the while, they're still on the radio because LG can't hang up on them.
Yeah, they lack the technology.
He's too busy spitting
Yeah, right.
on the
Yeah.
phone to disconnect it.
And it's funny.
But
because
no,
he
this
starts
is-
screaming again. Hang up, hang up. Like trying to get them to hang up. They weren't hanging up before. They're not even paying attention to the fucking phone now.
Typical Texas fans, all gas and no brakes.
Shit.
If they would have just hit those brakes.
Yeah, that dude wouldn't
I
have had to
don't
get
know.
his head sliced.
Yeah.
And this is a departure from Texas Chainsaw Massacre from the original because you get gore.
Oh yeah.
Like,
You
and
get
this-
Tom Savini.
This dude
shining.
gets his head cut at like a 45-degree angle, and you see it like slide off, and then blood starts shooting up out of the fucking head, and the other guy's like losing his fucking shit. And did the eyes on those glasses change, or is that just his facial expression making me think they changed and somehow they matched every expression that dude had?
I don't know. Maybe so. I don't think they changed.
I don't
but
think they
it'd be
changed
funny
either.
if they
It
did.
may just be like an optical illusion then, because it always seemed to match like his mood, like when he was giddy and shit, and then when he was frightened,
Yeah.
well, you know, some magic shades.
Did y'all notice what Stretch was wearing during this?
You have to remind us.
She was wearing a bejeweled ZZ Top shirt. A bejeweled ZZ Top shirt.
Yeah.
Did y'all notice what was behind Stretch in the sound booth? It was the band Beatles album cover. Yesterday and Today, where the Beatles are posed with the doll parts.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that one
That's
either.
pretty cool.
I didn't either. I did notice Dennis Hopper though at this crime scene,
Yep.
fucking just hanging around.
Brazos.
Yeah. Yeah,
Exactly.
he
It's
he
funny
gets into it
because-
with the local cops.
Yep. This is the shit I said earlier. It was a little early, but god damn it, I laughed out loud on this one. It was so fucking funny. It's like, yeah, they definitely raised some hell.
And Hopper's character is named Lefty. Lefty
Yeah.
and Stretch.
Lieutenant Lefty.
Those are really good names. But Lefty's character drives a station wagon?
Oh yeah,
That's a choice.
right.
Like, he's like this cowboy, Texan cowboy, you know? Station wagon.
Well, station wagons were a thing. I think I've told y'all the story about the station wagon we used to have, right?
No.
Well, even if I did, let's pretend I didn't, and I'll share right now. So
I was probably drunk, so.
possibly,
Yeah.
it's 99.9% chance that that's accurate.
Okay. Well,
But we had a station wagon when I was younger, and you couldn't be seen in a station wagon as a kid. And we were poor, so it wasn't like we had a lot of choice. But still, you know, you couldn't wear off-brand shoes, and you couldn't pull up to school in a station wagon. So like on most days I walked to school, but on a rare occasion that
did you walk to school on your buddies?
Well, thankfully my grandparents would buy me shoes. So
You remember when we used to call like
Yeah,
cheap
buddies.
shoes buddies?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
On the rare
Walmart
occasion though that
buddies.
my mom or stepfather would drop me off at school, I'd have them park behind on the other side of the bus, away from the building. That way I could get out and just make it look like I got off the bus, so nobody saw me getting off the station wagon.
Yeah, no, actually, you have told that story before. Now it sounds familiar.
Yeah,
Oh God, who hasn't been
Station.
embarrassed by their family's vehicle? Oh yeah, me too.
rich kids.
All throughout. Yeah.
Dad, you can't take me to school in the Porsche. Ugh, people will make fun of me. Meanwhile, I'm
2 years old now.
yeah. Meanwhile, I'm
Trade
trying
it
to
in,
like
Dad.
crawl under the bus so it can look like I'm coming out the front door. Hey guys, I'm here. Was that your station wagon? No, I was on this bus. Don't you remember seeing me on there with you?
Yeah. I don't think I've. My mom dropped me off away from the school, but God, I remember just hanging my head in shame getting out of the car.
I don't think I ever had that. We didn't have a car, or Mom didn't have one for a good little while. We rode the bus, and I didn't want to ride the bus, so I walked to school with Richard and his friends. Once I started like fourth grade, I started walking to school, and I walked with Richard and his friends because we had junior high for 1 year together because he was in 8th grade, and then after that, I just kept walking to school.
I'm a
How
reasonable
far away
guy,
is
but
it
I've
from
just
that?
experienced some very
I
unreasonable
have never
things.
measured it, but I'm cutting through neighborhoods because I'm over
Yeah.
there. I was over there on Mimosa, so I'd have to
Yeah.
cut through Pine Lawn Circle and all that. I'd kind of cut diagonally like that, and then I'd hit that little back road, and the school was right there. So it wasn't too bad when you're like cutting through shit.
Yeah. Like a 10-minute walk?
I mean, probably like 10, 15, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's
just
okay in
walking.
Mississippi, but fucking up north, that would suck.
Yeah, I'm walking through a couple of
Winter.
neighborhoods and some woods, and I'm at school.
Yeah.
Right.
But I need where this.
I'm just
other
talking
city
about,
I
like,
want
just-
to do.
Winter, like, fucking
Yeah.
sucks.
But it also sucks in August. I don't know if you remember how summers are in Mississippi, but they're pretty fucking brutal.
Now he's done got used to the Swedish life over there. Where
doesn't
summer,
remember anything about
summer is a
America.
brisk like 77.
Yeah. Yeah. But winters are fucking brutal.
And isn't it weird that by now you've gotten used to the climate to where in the summertime you're like, damn, it's pretty fucking hot today.
I've never heard him say that, honestly.
You've never had
No.
a day where it's like, damn, it's pretty hot. But knowing that it's probably like 107 in Carthage.
No, because we had like a really bad heat wave in 2018.
Yeah.
Like
It got to 79.
every fan, it almost got to 80 one day, and
People were fucking
just dropping
losing
like
it.
flies.
Right? Buying up all the water in the grocery stores and stuff.
Yeah, and toilet paper.
But
Oh my God.
every fan in Stockholm was sold out. Like you could not find a fan, and I remember being like, "Yeah, this is nice." Like, like, yeah, this is okay.
And Josh is like, this is comfortable weather. What are y'all doing?
Yeah, I mean, it honestly was only like 84.
Well, so Anna Lil she's been to the States a few times, obviously. What did she think about the summers? Because she's been here when it's hot.
It was pretty hot, and
She was like, I can't do it. I can't breathe.
yeah, she's really about to experience it like this time because we'll be home in July. And last time, I mean, there's no difference in mid-July and late July, but
There's no
Now
difference
since-
in July and October. Let's just be honest.
no, I know. But that's the thing, though, because in Mississippi now, there's no spring, right? You just jump from mild winter to summer. Here's the same thing, man. Like 3 weeks ago, you were wearing your winter jacket, and now it's finally 70.
Well, I'll tell you what season we have in fucking Tyler. You go from winter to tornado season, then into summer.
Yeah, I can see that.
We've had so many fucking tornadoes. And,
That touched ground.
yeah, we had one probably about what is it 2 or 3 weeks ago. Yeah, touchdown in the loop.
Oh shit!
Like it's all the time, dude.
I could see that.
So,
Hell,
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say the Delta got obliterated
Yeah.
a while back,
Yeah, real bad.
and it's so flat there
Yeah.
that once it touches down in the Delta, man, ain't nothing that's gonna stop it, you know. And it's not.
So back to Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. Like we said, we got Enright or Lefty. He's arguing with the local cops. And they're like, what do you want us to do? And he's like, put it in the news. And so they're like, well, I know a guy I got a contact at the paper. I'll get it in the paper for you. So they put it in the paper and they make him look like a quack.
Yeah. Oh, man. What the hell does that dude say?
Lefty reads the paper, and she. Now I didn't know that the paper had Enright's hotel room on it.
Yeah, like where he was staying and everything.
Yeah, because she goes straight to him.
Well, they really hate
Shitty
Dennis
ass.
Hopper.
Obviously,
They even let the readers know what hotel room.
like if you want to go harass this lunatic, here it is.
And he's sitting in the hotel room, man, and he's had it up to his eyeballs with the bullshit because he's just drinking tequila.
Yeah, and
By himself.
he looks fucked up, man. He looks
Fucked up,
hungover.
yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because whenever he's at the actual wreck, he looks like he's doing an investigation. He looks like he's got his shit together. Remember the Alamo, cowboy? That's what I was thinking. But anyway, at the hotel, he looks like he has said, "Okay, I'm done for the day. I'm about to get fucking drunk as shit," because he looks terrible.
He does.
That
And
probably
it's still
was
daylight outside.
That probably wasn't even in the script. That was probably just Dennis Hopper. Like my day's
Oh, wow.
over.
Yeah,
They're not paying me
you're
enough for
supposed
this
to be
bullshit.
looking through newspaper articles, and he's like, "Nope, just give me a bottle of tequila. I'll sell the scene. Trust me."
Yeah. So Lefty shows up or not Lefty. I mean,
Did y'all notice
Stretch.
Toby Hooper?
No, I
Nuh-uh.
didn't.
Right when she's walking to the hotel door, there's a guy with a red hat on with horns.
Oh, is that him?
Yeah,
No,
I
that's
did
Toby
notice that it was an odd
Yeah.
extra. So I guess
Yeah.
it should have picked up to me that, or pinged to me that it was like a cameo thing, because he does. He completely blocks her, looks directly at the fucking camera with like a weird look, and then keeps moving.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck was that dude? But I guess now we know.
So Stretch shows up at Lefty's room, and she's like, "Hey, I saw this article in the paper," and she's like, "They made you sound like a nut job." She's like, "But I believe you." And how does how does Lefty repay that faith? He tries to kick her out of the fucking room right off the rip. He's like,
I
"Yeah,
know.
I don't
He's like,
need your
"No."
help."
A DJ? No, I don't want shit to do with DJs. They're nothing but trouble.
Wasn't-
I don't give a fuck how much proof you have.
Wasn't the whole point of the article to turn up witnesses? And he gets a witness, and he's just like, "Nah, I'm good."
Exactly.
That was that tequila talking, man.
Yeah.
It must have been. Just fucked up, and he just couldn't think straight.
But she talks him into it. She's ready to
Well, he didn't
say,
even want
do
to listen
something
to
that
the
matters.
tape.
Nuh-uh. No, he didn't. She had fucking she's like, "This is sort of evidence, right?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Look, I got this bottle of Jose Cuervo Gold. I need you to
not
leave."
even that. Cheaper.
He's like,
It was
"Look,
two
I'm not really wanting to
worms.
find these fucking people. I just gotta have something to do with my time. And this is it. You're ruining it.
Yeah.
Get out of here."
I just like to drive around Texas and sample the local tequilas.
Yeah.
And it's right after this that we have the chili cook-off, right?
Yeah, like right after they talk, it jumps immediately to the cook-off. Yeah.
So
And-
is this chili cook-off like in the fucking hotel lobby or something?
Yes.
So he is right there with one of the members.
Yeah.
Doesn't even fucking know it. Well, of course, I mean,
Yeah,
why would
see-
you? But
that was kind of confusing for me, man, because it seemed like, yeah, she left his hotel and went just downstairs to do her job, but it also seemed like it could have been she was coming back from somewhere, and this was just the next scene, next place. That was very clear to me whenever that happened.
But then we see
I was thinking
Bones
the same
boy
thing.
LG building a
fry
house
house.
made of fries.
Fry house.
Those fries look so fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
They were overcooked.
Yeah, they're just soggy fries.
They were having a chili cook-off, Josh. They weren't having a fucking fry cook-off.
Yeah, the fries are always shit at a chili off.
That's secondary. Those fries are load-bearing fries. They're designed for building fry houses.
Yeah.
But I think he was drinking another Schotterbach too.
I think so.
Like there's a lot of Schotterbach.
Dude, so why did they pour it? I would hate to get a trophy that has a bowl on top of it that's full of chili. Because, like, it pours
Yeah.
all over
Oh, yeah.
the
He's
cook.
just fucking leaning it
Off-
all over him.
Yeah, Drayton.
Drayton? Yeah.
It pours all over his suit. You see it later on. He's still got the stain on his fucking suit from where the chili was at.
Yeah.
Well, the woman eats a bite, finds a bone, and then he's like, "Oh, that must be one of the
Hard peppercorns. Yeah.
Yeah, hard peppercorns.
Like, that's a big fucking peppercorn, dude.
Oh, man. And he just puts it in his fucking pocket.
Save it for later.
Yeah, it's something else.
2 years
But
in a
did
row.
he have the proto food truck?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. He had the food truck.
No, like the proto, like he's. I don't know how long food trucks have been around, but like there wasn't that many in 1986.
Well, dude, I tell you what this
Oh,
food
yeah.
truck fucking has, and we're jumping a little ahead, I think, but the food truck has a fucking phone in it, and instead of just a regular automobile radio, has like a fucking boombox mounted,
Yeah.
with a big antenna
Yeah.
and everything. This dude's making calls, listening to the radio, cooking fucking award-winning chili with hard
He's-
peppercorns.
Yeah, it's all about the meat. You
Successful
don't skip
small
on the
business
meat.
man.
Yeah, don't skip on the meat. No, and when it comes out, man, that they're making this chili with human bodies, like, how many people are vomiting when they find that out? Like, oh no, I ate some of that. Ugh.
Yeah, it's like if there's no proof that you ever ate any of it, you could be like, nah, man. I don't know what y'all talking about. That's just crazy.
Yeah.
But if you were like at the place and you got second place and it was everyone at this fucking cook-off saw you trying it, then you can never go. You got to move, man. You got to
Now we
move to
see-
fucking Wisconsin or some shit.
I always see how Daniel would tell himself that he didn't eat meat. Nah, man, I didn't eat.
Nah, not me.
No.
Just go to the mirror. Nah, wasn't me.
Nah.
Like there
I
was
don't look
human,
like a guy that would eat human meat and chili. No way.
no, they would tell Daniel like, oh, you just ate some chili with human meat, and he'd be like, that's crazy, cuz.
I'd be like, look. Yeah, that's crazy, cuz.
So
I'd be like, can I get a toothbrush, cuz?
there you go.
How much that toothbrush cost, cuz? $5, cuz?
$5, cuz.
Oh my god, I remember that. You got that $5?
Yeah,
No, you gotta do the hands.
Yeah.
Get that $5, cuz?
that's right. You got to put some flair in your shit when you're collecting debts, because then people laugh and they don't think that they're getting robbed because you only owe me $4. I don't even know if you remember that.
You just
It's
round it
3.
up.
Just round up.
So we get Lefty pulling up to cut right chainsaws.
Yeah,
And
cut right chain. Yeah,
He gets there like right as the shop opens too. It's like one of those people that sit outside of a building, like sit outside of a store waiting for it to open. He was probably like peeking through the window earlier before the guy got there. Like, when is this place open? I'm ready to buy a chainsaw.
yeah.
Dude, you
He's
could
one of-
smell
yeah,
this
one of-
chainsaw store.
Oh yeah.
From this movie, you could just know how it smells.
You know what my favorite part of that chainsaw store was? The
Test wood.
no, not the test wood, but the little racks that had the chips. Because it just reminds you, like, you ever gone to like one of those? Because they had one in Carthage, the oil change places where they don't really have anything in there for
Yeah, like
sale.
the pit stop.
Yeah, but they would have like these snacks that are probably old hanging on the racks. That's what it reminds me of. It's like, oh, you got these fucking
covered
stale,
in dust.
yeah, you got these stale ass chips hanging up here, charging 55 cents a bag.
Yeah, exactly.
And the test wood. The test wood was awesome too.
Yeah, dude. Speaking of the pit stop, I rode through Carthage a couple days ago. That fucking store is exactly the way that you picture it. It is still exactly the same. I don't think that they've touched up paint or anything on this fucking store. It is still, yeah, like a grease spot. But they still come out and they'll fucking put gas in your car. They do it. They serve you.
I have
all
totally
that little
forgot
shit.
about this. This is across from the old Walmart.
Oh yeah, across from old Walmart. Yeah.
I have not thought about that store
And
because
it is,
the inside
like
of
I
the
said, it
store
looks exactly like it.
is
Everything
like the
else has
size of
changed.
this kitchen I'm in.
But that store is, and it's one of those places like he said. It might have one of those ground coolers where they just fill it up with ice and throw
Yeah.
drinks in.
Yeah.
And then there might be like a fucking old dusty bag of peanuts and a bag of chips like he's like describing. But that
The
place
pit-
is still, yep.
The pit stop, I remember my aunt used to go there because you could have a tab.
Oh
That's
my god.
hilarious.
I forgot
Yeah.
about tabs.
Yeah.
Put it on my tab.
You remember when they
yeah.
briefly opened that sports bar and we'd go to it?
Yeah, we tried to support our local
I had a tab there.
haberdashery. Did
What the
you?
hell's the name of that place?
I don't know.
But you had a tab there.
And I had a tab.
The dude was, I think he was addicted to gambling.
They sold me a Miller Lite bucket.
Oh, I remember that bucket.
Yeah.
You still got it?
Probably
Nah.
not. No. I still got my Last Jedi bucket, or is it Force Awakens from one of the Star Wars movies?
Is it a plastic button or a metal
No, it's
bucket?
metal. It's metal.
All right, then that's probably the Force Awakens. Because I remember me and you went and saw the Last Jedi together, and they gave out fucking plastic shitty ass buckets. I didn't even keep mine. I don't even know where it's at. But even my Rise of Skywalker bucket, I have that one. I made it a trash can.
I think that was the movie where Daniel said he could hear my teeth grinding.
Probably so.
Were you asleep?
No, I was mad.
No, you were mad.
Yeah.
So back to the chainsaw store. Dennis Hopper, Lefty, just rolls up in there and puts what, like $1,000 down on the table.
Yeah, something like that.
And-
Yeah, you don't even worry about the cost.
No,
Hell no. He
He
wouldn't worry
just-
about no change.
he just starts grabbing chainsaws off the wall and testing them out, swinging them around. And this dude, man, like I guess he's just so happy to get all this money. He's like, well, you don't want to give them a whirl. I got a piece of wood outside. You can practice with them. And he starts doing it, man. He starts, and he's not cutting like normal. Like these chainsaws are on though, because you see it cutting the wood. And Dennis
Yeah.
Hopper's just whacking the shit out of this fucking log. And the old man looks like he's getting off.
Oh,
He
dude,
is.
that old man was loving that show.
He literally
Yeah.
says, "Oh my aching banana."
Yeah, he's a woodophile, is what we call
Yeah.
those guys.
I know what the face of an old man looks like when he's coming. This dude's coming. Promise.
Oh my god.
So he buys his fucking chainsaws. He ends up meeting back up with Stretch. I almost called her Switch, but meets back up with Stretch, and he's like, "Hey, I want you to play the tape on the radio." And she's like, "Well, I think there's rules against that. Playing a murder scene on the radio." And he's like, "This is your chance to do something."
Yeah,
And-
he threw her words right back at
Yeah.
her, and it worked.
Yeah, and so he's like, she plays it, and apparently she plays it like every hour on the hour. And LG's like, "Yeah, this isn't cool," and she's like, "Well, it's a request."
Yeah.
So technically we can
complaints
do it.
about requests all the time.
Yeah.
Could you imagine just wanting to listen to Foghat
Right?
and Blue Oyster
Slow
Cult?
ride.
and then it's like a fucking chainsaw murder that lasts
I'll-
5 minutes?
I would say it was a chainsaw massacre. for
Yeah,
5
touche.
minutes.
Nice.
Well, it's like the only Chainsaw Massacre in the movie, because the movie itself
Yeah, I know,
has a low body count.
Yeah,
Just
we've
3.
already covered the deaths. Like
Yeah.
most of them.
Right?
Outside of LG.
Yeah.
But the before I forget, and I'm prone to do that, Bill Moseley, who plays Chop Top, do you know how he got cast? He had made a movie prior to this, a little short film called The Texas Chainsaw Manicurists, where I guess he was performing as Chop Top. And Toby Hooper eventually got his hands on it and watched it, so
That's funny.
when Toby Hooper made this one, yeah, The Texas Chainsaw Manicurist. Yeah. But Bill Moseley's really good in this movie. Like,
Oh yeah.
there's certain, Savini's on his game, Bill Moseley's on his game.
Dude, like, yeah, after she's playing this fucking tape over and over and over, they show up. Well, LG leaves. He's asked. I can't remember what he asked Stretch.
He has to go get coffee at the steakhouse or something.
And she's like,
Yeah.
"No, I'm good." And so he's like, "Okay."
And he just goes spitting everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he did not spit in her face.
Yeah. Which
You
is
get
kind of like
rejected.
Quit
Yeah,
spitting on the
rejected his ass.
fucking floor, man. So he's
I know,
he's
right?
spitting his way out the building, and Leatherface and Chop Top show up
Yep, right
to
after
the
he
station.
leaves.
And yeah, you see Chop Top, and he's got this Sonny Bono wig,
Yeah.
and he's fucking scratching his head with a hanger that he's heating up for like a
Fucking
half a
wire
second.
hanger.
Yeah.
And then he's picking it and eating it.
Mm-hmm.
My
Oh, that's
God.
fucking terrible.
Yeah.
I will say this though, like, because when Stretch comes down and she sees Chop Top sitting on the couch and he's asking her, these questions, and then she starts getting unnerved. The audience isn't introduced to Leatherface until like they turn on the light to where
Yeah.
the records are kept, and
Yeah.
it's pretty effective.
Yeah, and when you first see it, you're like, man, I bet Leatherface is going to come out that door. But they go by it the first time, and nothing happens. And they're doing the little tour, and she's like, this is a, whatever. This is a stuffed animal. She's just showing him fucking objects on a desk, and he's like, and that's the exit sign.
Fucking stapler.
Yeah, like that's the exit sign. And then he's like, what's in this room? Is this where you keep all the records? And then Leatherface comes barreling out of there with the fucking chainsaw. And he misses Stretch and hits Chop Top right in the fucking head, cuts his wig in half almost. And you see what he's been picking at, and it's a really good effect. It's this metal plate in his head.
Yeah,
And it looks so good.
it does.
And then you're like, he's been eating his dead skin around his head.
Yeah.
He starts cursing Leatherface, calling him Bubba. You fucked up my Sonny Bono wig.
Yeah.
You're going to have to get me a new cover
Yeah.
or a new plate cover.
And then Leatherface chases Stretch.
Well, hold on. I'm gonna pull a Josh
go
here.
ahead.
Let's backtrack for just a second. What kind of fucking injury did you have to have a skull plate that covers up 40% of your head?
He was in fucking
He
Nam. He might have got
mentions-
blown up.
He mentions later how he's talking to the older brother, who I always thought was the dad.
I did too, for some reason.
Yeah. But he's saying like he got that in Nam, obviously. But he mentions how like the GI Bill, like I'm able to afford this because, but I don't know. It's a Nam
Something in
injury.
Nam.
It's covering up a large portion of his fucking head.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I'm sorry, Josh. You were saying?
No, I was just saying. And then Leatherface chases Stretch. She gets into. I mean, if LG wasn't spitting everywhere in this fucking station, it'd be pretty cool to hang out in, except you're just stepping in fucking loogies.
Right.
Because, like, she runs into this room to where they just have cases of beer, a radio flyer wagon full of ice and soda,
Yeah.
And then Leatherface's dumbass. He sees the steel door, so
Well,
he starts petting it with the fucking chainsaw.
I did like the door because it's like a callback to the first one.
Yes. Yeah.
They had a door in the house, and now they have a fucking metal sliding door in the radio station, which doesn't make any sense to have a sliding metal door in a radio station. But whatever, it was a cool visual.
Yeah.
That's to keep the beer cool, man.
I guess.
so. They got to keep that wagon full of ice good. Can't keep refilling it every fucking 30 minutes.
And it's like you said, Leatherface is fucking massaging the door with the chainsaw or whatever.
Not doing anything.
Yeah. Obviously, and at some
Just making
point,
sparks.
yeah. And at some point, he cuts through the wall because he ends up in the room with Stretch. It's just, it took him forever to get to that point where it's like, oh, hey, I can cut through this wall. Instead of, wasting my fucking shit on this metal door. He goes in there and then Stretch seduces him.
Yeah, she's like screaming while he's hacking away at the ice and the sodas for 5 minutes. And then she decides to seduce him.
Yeah, and she's saying things like, you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if
How
this
good
wasn't,
are
I
you?
mean, he was so on the nose of how the chainsaw is his dick, right? I mean, it's as plain as the nose on Anne's face.
There's no time. There's no time for subtlety.
No time for subtlety. But in the meantime, LG comes back with 2 cups of coffee. Who's going to trust a cup of coffee from LG.
Right.
I'd rather eat chili from the Sawyers.
Yeah.
Take my chances there.
Yeah.
Fucking.
You're not going to find a loogie on that kneecap, for sure.
But LG starts walking up the steps. He looks down and he sees Chop Top. Chop Top's just doing Chop Top shit, which is banging records with a hammer.
Oh, hold on. You missed something.
Yeah.
He walks up the stairs. He gets halfway up the stairs. He sees the other vehicle, and then he spits into it.
Yeah.
That's competition, man.
Yeah. But then, he sees Chop Top like you were saying.
And he's like, what the shit are you doing here? Or
Yeah.
who the shit are you?
Yeah. And he's like, you better get out of here, you freaky looking little son of a bitch or something like that. God, I was just laughing because it seemed like they were both going so hard at the same time. Because Chop Top is like, lick my plate, dog dick. Is that what he says?
Or coon. And the older brother says coon shit all the time.
Yeah. Oh, my
yeah.
God, yeah. It's like they're just firing shit off the top of their head,
Yeah.
And here is where we think we get another kill.
Yeah.
Because
You would think.
the way they go at LG, like there's no choice but for him to be dead.
I know,
And
right?
it's so funny when you see it, though, because it's when Chop Top starts hitting LG in the head with a hammer, it was like watching a bad wrestling match because he was so hitting him so soft. Like, but LG's flailing like a fish and
Yeah.
a lot of blood here.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Chop Top tells Leatherface to finish off the girl, and Leatherface doesn't, and he's like, "You got her," and he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, He's like, "Well, help me get this guy. They're gonna carry LG off because apparently LG is prime meat."
Well,
Yeah.
he touches
that's
his stomach to let him know that this fat fuck hasn't
This
spit
beard
the
gut's
weight
gonna
off.
be delicious.
They throw him in the back of the truck and they drive off, and then chases after him.
Yeah, she doesn't want him to get away, so she chases after him because Lefty's bitch ass is like nowhere to be found.
Right?
Okay. So Lefty
Yeah.
set her up.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, that's
There's
fine.
bait.
He tells
Yeah.
her, he's like, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
sister, I set you up. You couldn't be in the back of the radio station?
Yeah, nowhere to be found. It would have been so much easier for you to get them at the radio station than where they go.
Yeah, because Drayton
Like-
on his own is not a threat.
Yeah.
I mean, that was established in the first movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Drayton's not a killer.
Hell, Chop Top really ain't. No, he is.
Man, he was. Yeah, he was having fun with that hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Massaging his skull. So Lefty spends an hour away. He wants to lure him there to the station.
Yeah.
And then Lefty wants to drive 45 minutes
Right?
Yeah.
to finally get him.
He's in Fort Worth, hiding
Yeah.
out. He
And
wants to
then he
make sure he's not
starts
detected.
Oh, I'm sorry, sister. I was at the UTOU game.
Right?
Yeah.
I was tailgating, sister. And then, like, Lefty decides to, and,
I know
certain
exactly
movies,
what you're about
it's
to
just-
say, and I thought the same thing.
he starts chasing her in the car.
Yeah.
Like, he couldn't have been like, hey, sister,
It's me.
it's
Yeah.
me.
You might as well just
Like,
be
let me
blowing the
scare
horn
her.
and fucking flashing your bright lights and shit at her,
Let me scare her a little bit more.
Right?
Yeah.
Chases her down, and then she falls in that hole. And and they go to Texas Battleland,
Yes.
which
Texas Battleland.
is apparently all built underground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you've got
I
a
really
few
think
things
that I
up top
missed those theme parks. That seemed
I
like
know,
a
right?
cool time.
with little slides that went down into the depths.
Now, Christmas lights everywhere.
Yeah. But she falls into a hole, and she's just like, help me. And he's like, yeah, I'll help you. And he pulls up a skeleton hand to reach out to her.
Yeah, that fucking crumbles and fucking breaks.
I mean, and he doesn't even realize he grabbed it.
Yeah.
Because
Or
when she
gives a
falls, he
shit when
looks
she
at it.
falls.
Yeah, she falls and then he looks at it and he's like, "Ugh."
Yeah, he's like, oh my god.
But that's it. Like, what we have talked about is this entire movie. This last hour is spent here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And, there was Joe Bob Briggs filmed a scene for this movie that was cut.
Yeah.
They filmed extra scenes of the family going out during this Red Rivalry week and getting fresh meat.
Red River rivalry. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Did I say Red Rifle?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the Andy Dalton Bowl.
It is.
It is. It played at TCU, close
Yeah.
enough. But like they filmed that and it was cut. Like when I watched it 3 months ago for this podcast, it was like, it kind of drags a little bit more than I thought. And then when I watched it this time, I'm like, holy shit, the last act, but you want to say it's more than the last act. It's like this movie's 2 acts.
Yeah.
And the whole second act is just here, and here becomes a chore to get through. To me,
It does. I agree with that. And I'll tell you, and I alluded to it earlier when I said that, calling Dennis Hopper to star this movie was being generous. Because all you see this man do up until the very end of the movie from here on out is cut boards or cut post. And
you don't even see that.
He's trying to collapse the building.
Yeah. You see him start it, and then once they cut away from Dennis Hopper, once he finds like the big gross thing that's behind the wall, the intestines.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna bring this thing down to hell. This is whatever. They do not cut back to him.
Well, you have that one little scene where he finds Franklin's corpse or skeletal
Yeah.
remains, which is fucking odd. Like, why would you have brought those with you?
Seriously, out of all of your victims, why would you bring that one? And it seems like there was was that the same? Was it Franklin again, or was it just another person in a wheelchair? That she
No, it
comes
was.
across?
He's the nephew.
No. I get that. I'm with you on that. I'm
Okay.
talking about, remember, Stretch immediately, like the next scene, comes across a dead person in a wheelchair, but it didn't seem like it was the same place, because his seemed like it was in a room. Her shit seemed like it was in like a hallway type thing. So it wasn't clear if she just missed Lefty, or if it's just another person.
Well, they
in a
do.
wheelchair.
They are in close contact with each other. They don't. There's a moment where they're close to each other because she's running.
Yeah, and Hopper traps her.
Yeah, we're getting ahead of ourselves because we missed another fucking scene with LG spitting. So let's backtrack it. She
Yeah.
ends up
In the
in
butcher's
here.
room.
Yeah, and they fucking find her. Leatherface has her down there, and she's like, "You gotta help me! You gotta help me!" And he takes LG's face and puts it on her.
After she watches him cut that fucker off.
Yeah, and then he puts LG's hat on her. She tries to stop him or take it off, but he stops her, and she's like, "Oh."
Yeah.
She says something so funny when he has the face and he's going over there, and it's obvious they're just about to put it on her face, and she's like, "Is it wet? Is it wet? It's wet."
I didn't even pay attention to that. I was probably writing, but I didn't even catch that.
Is it wet? Oh, it's wet.
It's like, what do you think?
And then she's bound, and Leatherface leaves, and then turns out that LG's still fucking alive. His face has been flayed off, like half his torso has been flayed. And he's like, "I'm not looking so good, darling,"
Yeah. Yeah.
and spits.
And then spits with no lips.
Right?
Oh my god.
But he has like one final dying act. This man finally dies, but he cuts her free, and
Oh man, he hacks her free.
I
Josh
know.
said he cut her free earlier. He hacks her free.
It looks like he's trying to fucking stab her when you see it.
I would not have trusted it.
Hooper films it. Hooper films it like that because you would think if you're hacking off like some ropes, if somebody's bound, you
Yeah.
take it handle, and you go up. LG goes about it like fucking Norman Bates
Yeah.
in Psycho. He's like,
Exactly what I was thinking.
Norman Bates meets Grandpa from Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
yeah.
Where it's like, you know, and it's like, what the fuck?
He stabs her accidentally. I'm sorry, darling. Then he spits in it. The
In the
wound.
wound. Yeah. But I mean,
Right.
he did just suffer some traumatic shit, so I won't blame LG too much, but it is just funny.
Yeah. Then
But-
she. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna give props to Savini because the shit looks pretty good. I mean, it's
yeah.
a little over the top, but it looks pretty good.
Well, how do you imagine a skinless face to look?
Well, I think if you did this now, like Halloween Kills, we won't talk about that movie, but you remember when the dude jumped?
It's been a long time since I've seen that movie.
You might have to describe the scene a little more.
The mental patient jumped from the
Oh yeah.
window, like, and then they showed the aftermath, and it was pretty realistic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the shit looks good, but it's a little,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't remember the scene, but I'll agree with you that it is a gruesome situation because, you know, to support you.
Yeah.
So we get LG back on the run. She's on the run and she's going through these different fucking tunnels or whatever. And then they finally see her, and Drayton sees her.
Yeah, he saw a booger. He didn't see her. He didn't know what it was. It was a booger that he saw.
But she's running away though, and she's almost to Lefty, and Lefty cuts down a fucking support beam that traps her.
Yeah.
And then Drayton has the, I don't know if y'all got this one. I got it written down. What was like the best line in the movie. He goes, "Turn traitor for a piece of tail. You got one choice: by sex or saw,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or one choice, boy, sex or the saw."
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go back a little bit to when Leatherface is cutting up LG, because this line just stood out. I'm so glad I wasn't eating watching this fucking movie. But
It's hilarious that you say that because Courtney was, and she was like, I fucking came in at the wrong moment because it is such a disgusting movie.
it is, and we missed it, but I mean we sort of touched on it, but we didn't really talk about it. When Lefty comes in and he sees the blood, and then he knocks the wall down with the guts. That shit was,
Yeah.
I mean, it was fucking gross, but
Yeah. And how are they keeping these guts wet? Like that's
I know.
something I thought. Like everything else is dry and like disintegrating to the touch. But
Yeah.
these wall guts, man, they're staying pretty fucking fresh. I guess that's a secret. That's the Sawyer secret. They won't tell anyone.
yeah, secret sauce. But what did we decide the brother's name was? What was his name? The older brother?
Yeah, Dalton. Or no, not Dalton. I'm thinking of something else. It's like Drayton or some shit, right?
Drayton
Yeah.
is the older
Yeah.
brother, the old one.
It's
Drayton.
not Dalton.
Well, dude, hey,
hit-
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, he just tells Leatherface to prepare the eyeball pate.
Yeah.
So disgusting.
So, Courtney has a talent apparently for walking into the wrong parts of movies.
Oh, dude.
Because when we watched when we did Galaxy of Terror, Daniel was telling me that she walked in right as the maggot was assaulting the woman.
growing,
Yeah.
and decide- and then,
And she's like, "What did I
killed
walk
the damn
into?"
woman. Yeah, she's like, what the fuck is this?
I gotta watch this. What's it called? Galaxy of Terror?
Yes.
Galaxy of Terror.
But did y'all notice, and then I'll let y'all take it from here. Did y'all notice the Doctor Strangelove reference?
I've never actually seen Doctor Strangelove.
Me neither, but you know the famous last scene. The cowboy riding on the bomb
Oh yeah, yeah,
as it falls.
yeah.
There's a skeleton
I didn't,
riding on a bomb.
I didn't
with
see it.
Holding a cowboy hat.
what I did see was this fucking one room that Lefty had come out of, and it was just made out of like skeletons.
Yeah.
Like what kind of amusement park was Texas Battleland?
Oh, they've had to have been doing their own decorating, I guess.
They've been doing their own thing for a
Well,
while.
these skeletons
Yeah.
are like fucking bricks. It's like they got mortar around them and shit, and the skeletons are into the masonry.
Yeah, maybe they were using their chili as like a mortar, like LG was.
that's the
with
guts.
the fries.
That's
may
what
be.
that's what the guts are. Your little wet guts.
Yeah.
Like, damn it, Leatherface, get some more femurs. Plaster it together, you dumb shit.
Yeah.
You dog dick.
He had several interesting names for the boys, for sure.
Well, you know who did a good Drayton impersonation?
Who?
Chop Top. Because there's that one scene where Chop Top is impersonating Drayton, and he sounds just like him.
You
I was
know,
going to say, do you know who would pair very well with Drayton in other movies that we've covered? And she was actually your favorite character in A New Beginning.
Oh
Was her
my
name
God.
Fucking Myrtle or Maud?
Oh,
What was her
Edith.
fucking name?
Edith.
That
Will
chick,
you
yeah,
shut the fuck up?
Yeah.
Don't touch me. I got a bomb on me.
Shut the fuck up. Get the eyeball pate.
You dog
You
dick
dildo.
motherfuckers.
That would have made a really good couple.
Oh, that really would have.
Well, yeah, Drayton, though, has the talk, I guess, with Leatherface
Yeah.
about sex.
I'm talking about SEX.
SCEX.
Sex hasn't done nothing but bring trouble, you dumb shit.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, is essentially what he tells them. He's like, telling them sex is bad and, family first. This was family being the most important thing long before Fast and the Furious ever did it.
Oh,
Yeah,
facts.
exactly right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All you need is family. Yeah, we know.
This was the actual inspiration for Fast and the Furious. The guy was just also really into cars.
We were talking about Fast and Furious before we went live, right?
Yeah.
Before we went live on this podcast,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we were talking about it a little bit on the stream itself. Yeah, so Chop Top knocks Stretch out with a bone, and he counts down. He's like 3 and a 2, and boom!
Yeah.
It fucking knocks her out, and we get another dinner scene.
Yeah.
I know,
it's
yeah.
funny. And it is funny because it's like, once it happens, it's like, all right, cool. But like, I don't give a shit. Like, because this is a big thing in this franchise, Nothing tops that first one. That first one was just like, what the fuck? This girl is in hell, dude. That shit is chilling. And in this one, it's like, oh, okay, here we are again. And then they're goofy as shit. And then here comes Grandpa.
137 years old, strict liquid diet.
Liquid diet. Yep.
Yeah. And it's funny because it doesn't, haunt. It doesn't really hit like the.
No,
the
this
first one
one's
does,
this one's different, and they go back and they're like, "Grandpa's a one hitter."
Yeah, he's a one.
No, the fuck he isn't. Just like the first movie, he's not. Stretch got hit in the head how many times?
Yeah, she got
Yeah.
hit several times. He was getting better and better, but then he just,
Yeah, because
He
the
gave out.
first 8 times he dropped a hammer.
yeah, no, right. He got her a few times, and then fucking Drayton had to come in and give her a solid knock to knock her ass out.
Yeah, and when it cuts to Stretch, and then it sort of zooms out, and you see the table, and you realize, okay, they're recreating the Sally scene.
Yeah,
That's when you're like, you could have just made this a Lefty movie,
yeah,
because now you're. I don't want to say it's the same beats, because now it's got a comedic a bent to it, but it's the same fucking thing that you've seen, except
Yeah.
with jokes.
Well, now you're about to get a chainsaw fight.
oh yeah,
Speaking of which, speaking of chainsaw fights, have y'all seen Mandy?
I saw most of it.
You haven't seen it, Daniel? It's a movie. I ain't gonna say recommend or not recommend, but it's a movie you need to see because you will not see. And maybe this director, his other movies are like this, but you will not see a movie like Mandy. Mandy is insane. But they got a chainsaw fight in that one at the very end.
Yeah, you got. Well, back to this movie though. You got fucking Lefty. He injures Drayton with a chainsaw, right? And then he and Leatherface get into a
He cuts his
chainsaw.
ass.
Yeah, he cuts his
And he's
ass
like-
cheeks.
He says that cured my hymns.
Yeah. So fucking crazy. The quotes on this movie.
So
It gets funnier the more we talk about it, actually.
Yeah.
he gets into a chainsaw fight with Leatherface though, and he mortally wounds Leatherface.
Yeah, he fucking shoves it through his fucking gut.
Yeah, it's pretty radical.
Yeah. And Drayton is just like, fuck it, we lost. So let me pull out a fucking grenade.
He's like,
He goes
"Fuck
under
that."
the table and he's talking about how the small businessman can never succeed in America. Because when Dennis Hopper first comes on the scene, Drayton, what does he say? Oh, are you from the organic market? And Drayton, so he pulls down the skeleton, and IMDb taught me this. This was the hitchhiker from the first one.
Oh, shit.
When
Oh,
he gets
okay.
the grenade.
You know what we forgot? But when we got to the chainsaw fight, we got to Grandpa just being, not Grandpa, but Drayton being like, fuck it, we lost. Let's use a grenade. We forgot about Chop Top's idea for an amusement park and what the public wants. Nam Land.
Yeah. Exactly.
And he starts blowing the fucking fire extinguisher, and he's like, napalm.
Yeah.
Right?
Am I going to have to give this a half star more? Because some of the shit is pretty funny.
Well,
Namland.
so
You mean Vietnam?
Drayton and Lefty die. Leatherface gets, he's injured, and Grandpa's injured, and Chop Top chases Stretch to the top of the rock tower.
Well, I will say this: when you watch this movie, it obviously this franchise didn't continue on with canon, but it does seem like Tobe Hooper just wanted to end it here, because fucking Leatherface gets a chainsaw to the gut,
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
there's
Well, there's like a definitive end for all these characters in this movie.
yeah,
That
maybe not Chop Top. But we'll get to it. He chases her up
Yeah.
to this.
up a rock tower or some shit like that. And he Lefty, not Lefty. I don't. God damn it. The names Lefty and Stretch. I almost called her Stitch.
That's
Stitch, Switch.
Stitch.
Yeah. It's just-
Stitcher Premium. When Stitcher Premium gets to the top.
she gets
Stitch
a
Fix.
chainsaw.
And then Lilo and Stitch have a fight.
Yeah.
But she ends up wounding Chop Top, right?
Poncho and Lefty, she finally.
Okay,
Okay. I'm done. I'm out.
you're out. But she wounds Chop Top with a chainsaw.
Stretch injures Armstrong.
Oh my god. And so it has been a minute since I had watched a movie. I tried to rewatch it for this episode, but I ran out of time, so I didn't get to get back to the very end. So I'm actually a little foggy on what happens with Chop Top.
He just falls down and he ends up falling through what do you call that? A drainage pipe. And he lands perfectly. It's like I don't know if she called drainage pipe to the left, when she knocked him down, but we'll count it.
Man, she
Does he get
knocks him
electrocuted?
down.
No.
She did that a little bit earlier. Whenever
Oh, yeah, she
fucking
did that a
hit
little
him
bit
with
earlier,
The
yeah.
lamp. She broke the bulb and then stuck it to his fucking plate.
Oh, okay.
Shocking the shit out of him. And then that was earlier during the chase, while Drayton was gonna blow the room up with Lefty and Leatherface.
That's right. I got on my notes here. It says that Chop Top is cutting the hell out of Stretch.
Oh, she's fucking her up while she's trying to.
Well, he
break
also
that
cuts his
chainsaw.
own neck.
Yeah, he fucking
Several
slits his
times.
throat like 4 fucking times.
Yeah.
That is fucking strange. This family's got problems.
And then we get Stretch spinning with a chainsaw.
Yeah.
Kind of like the
Oh
end
yeah,
of the
yeah,
first
yeah.
movie.
She does the fucking She does the Leatherface dance with a chainsaw dance,
And then the movie cuts off.
and then it's over.
Because I got it down here. It says the movie
She's
abruptly
gonna
cuts
be
off.
She's gonna be the new Leatherface. I mean, that's got to be it, right? She's the new Leatherface. I mean, I can't wait for the next one. It's like she has to be, and she's gonna.
Yeah, I have no idea what happens. I'm just assuming
Not
it's
Surely
She's
they're
the
not
head
going
of
to do
the
a Corey
family.
Feldman situation on us.
no. It'll be Caroline Woods. Be send her out in a stretcher.
You guys haven't
Armstrong.
seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, then I take it.
Well, I feel like they should call it Next Generation, and it should be her.
Yeah.
Well, there is a next generation, but it comes after part 3.
No, I'm just.
Or
No,
new-
I've seen part 3.
Or
It's
new
got Viggo
generation.
Mortensen in it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And who's the guy from Dawn of the Dead? Ken Forsey? Ken Foray?
I don't even remember, man. Hell, I thought the next one was going to be the one with Renee Zellweger and Matthew McConaughey.
That's the fourth
Or is
one.
that's the next one, the fourth one. I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I don't remember who's who. But I'm going to go
Yeah, I
first
don't either.
today.
They blur after this second one. They do blur for me. I don't remember which ones are what.
I'm going to go first this time and give my rating.
Sounds good.
All right. Drum roll, please. There you go.
5
Thank you.
stars.
Nope. I'm going to give it 3.5. It's.
You really like Texas.
I thought that
That's
was
an understatement.
I thought that was kind of in the range of average. I thought the movie is such a departure from the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And Josh had talked about it earlier, where Tobe Hooper said that the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre was supposed to be black comedy. I don't know how. There's nothing, like he said. There's nothing to me. There's nothing about that movie that screams comedy. Like that movie is a masterpiece of terror.
Yeah.
This movie,
Seriously.
yeah. This movie, on the other hand, though, you can see the comedy elements in it. You know, fucking LG spitting on the ground every time you turn around. Drayton, the way he talks to the family. Chop Top. Like, it's there. Even Leatherface and the way he acts. Like, the
Yeah.
comedy's there.
Well, even. I'm sorry. Continue.
You don't get as many kills in this movie as you did in the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but what you do get is much more visceral. You're getting some top-notch special effects from Savini. The movie itself, it's like Josh alluded to, it drags in the back half of the movie once you get to Texas Battleland. That probably carries on a little bit too long. Probably could have made the movie closer to 90 minutes instead of the 100 and, or not 100, but the hour and 47 minutes or whatever it was, or 50 minutes. Could have been a shorter movie, and I think it would have been better for it. But yeah, I'd say 3.5 stars.
Yeah, it's funny because, see, I was going to say, like, you're talking about, like, it's obviously, definitely far left from the original. Because it is over the top, definitely over top comedy, horror comedy. Like fucking Return of the Living Dead 2. I mean, that is just over the top comedy horror. And that's the same thing you're getting here. Even, like I said, was about to say was to the point of her screams. Like, she's sitting there screaming in just a fanatical, comical way. It's so ridiculous it makes you chuckle because she's screaming. It's like, and it ain't even your normal shit where it's like, stop screaming and run, bitch. He's coming. He's going to kill you. She's on the other side of the room with an open door by her, and she's just screaming, 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 like running out of breath, screaming when she could just go the other way because he's not doing anything but fucking dancing at one point for a solid 10 seconds. So there's a lot of funny, like, comedy things there. And so I agree with you there. And to comment on the black comedy part of the first one, I don't see that either. Tobe Hooper, unless you think that you have some weird, like, secret thought about how funny it would be to see a mentally challenged person get fucking hacked up by a chainsaw while they're in their wheelchair, nobody else saw comedy in this thing, man. This was fucking terror, you know? But for me, though, I give it a 2. It was a 2 for me. I thought, you know, like, it's a movie that, yeah, I'll watch it for sure. You know, like, it's one of the ones that I will watch even though it is fucking out there. But we haven't quite gotten to the point where it's like, man, I want to watch a good movie, something not too serious. I think I'm going to put in Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. You know, so I don't think that I would put it in the 3-star category. For me, it would be in the 2s. But yeah, I would still tell people, hey, watch it. And we ain't got to the movies yet where I'm like, you shouldn't even fucking think about watching it. Just skip it. I haven't got to the point where it's like skip it yet. Very, very, extremely soon, actually.
I think horror comedy, in terms of like a genre of film, it is so hard to master because comedy is very subjective as it is. And once you lean one way to the comedy, you're robbing from the horror. Now, Return of the Living Dead, which was made 1 year prior, is like the perfect example of nailing both. Shaun of the Dead in the early aughts. I don't know about the 90s, but it's so hard. Sadly, I've liked this movie a little less each time I've watched it, but the more me and us three talked about it, Hooper's not attempting horror at all in this. But as we've talked about it, the comedy is there. And, you know, because in my notes, I was praising Savini and Mosley, as they should be. Drayton fucking kills it too in this movie. Yeah. I mean, he's pretty good. He's the only actor who obviously reprised his role from the original. He's pretty fucking funny. And the production design, as much as I hate the final half of the movie, it looks pretty good, you know? Mm-hmm. But the third act crawls, you know? It doesn't even walk to the finish line. You pony up the money for Dennis Hopper. Fucking use Dennis Hopper. He disappears from this movie, and it's so goddamn noticeable when you're watching it. Maybe not the first time you watch it. The second time you watch it, you're like, where's Poochie? You know?
Yeah, and then he only shows up for his death.
Yeah. You know? What a waste. Originally, I'd given it 2.5 stars. But I am going to give it 3 because the comedy's there. Now, I will say, top 10 worst hangover movies ever, because the comedy's loud, and when it does get gory, it's pretty fucking gross. You know, that's a good thing, but just like, if you're sitting on the couch and you're just like, I just want to chill, maybe doze off, you know, eat Taco Bell, this ain't the movie, because it's too loud and too gross, eyeball pate. Yeah. Ugh. But it is 3 stars because, you know, and it's a shame that Tobe Hooper, I'd have to look at his filmography. I don't think he gets another chance like this. I think he's I might be wrong, but I feel like he's pretty much out of the Hollywood game after this movie.
I guess
Unless there's-
filmography pulled up right here. So
Yeah, see,
Spontaneous Combustion, Night Terrors, The Mangler, Crocodile, Toolbox Murders, Mortuary, and then a movie called Gin.
yeah, this is it.
He is a producer on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning.
That's probably legally they had to do that.
And he does some television. He does an episode of Tales from the Crypt, Nowhere
That's gonna be
Man,
my first guess.
Dark Skies, The Others, Night Visions, Taken, and Masters of Horror.
When did Tobe Hooper die? Like in the last couple of years, didn't he? 2019,
2017.
2017. Yeah, it's a shame because Poltergeist is one of my all-time favorite movies. Period. Like top 50 easily. The Funhouse is good. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's a shame that this is pretty much it. You know, I do find it funny that he pissed off Globin and Gobus.
Globin and
I
Gobus.
find it funny he pissed off Lilo and Stitch. We're just gonna call these two brothers Lilo and Stitch. That is so funny because they thought they were getting like a proper horror movie, and yeah. Have you seen the documentary Electric Boogaloo?
I think I'd started it. I think I might have been watching it as I was going to sleep. About
Yeah,
Cannon.
it's-
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
All right. So that was Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. Ooh, excuse me.
That's right.
Any
That
parting
was that.
any parting words of wisdom?
Are we? We had mentioned it briefly. I mean, we might as well discuss it now. We can pivot. I know you said Dream Warriors, but what's the difference between Dream Warriors and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2?
Dream Warriors is like the last good one.
Of the movies we're covering?
Well, I mean, and I don't say it's the last good one, but it's like we could. I mean, if so, for everybody that's listening, and since we're talking about it now, we're in the middle of this project, but we talked about taking a little break from it so we could cover some other movies, hitting up some other films that we want to talk about, the three of us, and then coming back to the project. So, I mean, I'm fine with that if that's what y'all want to do.
Yeah, it don't matter. I mean, at that point, if that's what we're doing, we shouldn't say what it is that we're going to be doing
Yeah.
because we don't know what
Yeah.
it is.
So, yeah. So, well, then let's do it right now. Not say what we're going to do, but just say, like, this is going to be the last one in this series for a little bit. I mean, we're going to come back to it. We're not going to stay gone. And it may be where we do, like, a couple episodes of one thing and then do one or the other and then just continue on. That
I
sound
was
good?
thinking we should have got to the 90s, but I don't even know how many movies that is till we get to the 90s.
Yeah.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more movies before we get to the 90s.
Never mind.
The
Okay.
first 90s movie is Leatherface, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3.
Okay. Let's do Dream Warriors. And then when we do that, when we can announce what we're doing.
Is Dream Warriors the next movie?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
If people want to watch along, not watch along, but watch the movie before.
That sounds good. Let's do Dream Warriors, and then we can pivot and do some
Yeah,
other
but
things,
this-
and then come back.
Yeah, but this Dream Warriors will be in another month because of my schedule.
Yeah.
I leave and I won't be back. So we'll get it as soon as we can.
That's fine. But all right. So thank you for listening to the podcast as always. Also, if you want to watch it, we do have it up now. It'll be up on YouTube, but it's be on the channel State Inspector. That's all one word. You can watch
For
it
now.
there. Yes. And I will set up the Very Unreasonable Things podcast channel at some point and work on going back and trying to make the other. You won't get to watch anything, but try to make it where I can get the other episodes on YouTube also.
Yeah, I've seen a video podcast that they didn't go video first, but they still put their shit on YouTube and just like put an image. You just put our logo up and run the audio, you know.
And the
I've seen other
plan,
people do that.
the plan is to stream these on Twitch from here on out while we're doing them, too.
Yeah.
So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Roger that.
I
Lick
love
my
you.
plate, dog dicks.
All right. So we're still on Twitch at the moment. I'm about to end that, though. Thank you for watching. Check us out. We appreciate you watching. And then just check us out on our next episode.
Yeah, Michael, like, share, subscribe, and all of those good things. Ask Nick how Twitch works.